A Game of Thrones, published in 1996, is an epic fantasy novel by George R.R. Martin, marking the beginning of his long-running series, A Song of Ice and Fire. The novel immerses readers in the fictional world of Westeros, where characters are entangled in a complex web of plots, conspiracies, and betrayals in their quest for power. Upon release, it garnered numerous awards and was adapted into a television series in 2011. The story is set on the fictional continent of Westeros, characterized by seasons that last for years. The continent is primarily divided into the Seven Kingdoms, with a massive wall of ice separating the northernmost part from the icy wilderness beyond. In the prologue, members of the Night's Watch, an ancient and neglected organization guarding the wall, track a group of wildlings, but are mostly killed by pale, blue-eyed whites. After the longest summer on record, King Robert Baratheon visits Winterfell to see his old friend, Lord Ned Stark. 15 years earlier, Ned aided Robert in overthrowing the previous king, Aerys II Targaryen. Before Robert's arrival, Ned executes the sole surviving member of the Night's Watch party for desertion. The man's tale of the Whites is deemed unbelievable. However, Jon Snow, Ned's illegitimate son, senses the man's fear. Soon after, the Stark children discover direwolf puppies in the woods, and each is given one to raise, aligning with the Stark family sigil. Robert's visit follows the death of their mutual mentor, Lord Jon Arryn, the King's Hand. Robert asks Ned to take Jon's place. Though wary of Robert's wife, Queen Cersei of the notorious Lannister family, and her twin brother, Sir Jaime, who is in the Kingsguard, Ned is persuaded by his wife, Catelyn, to accept the position to avoid offending the king. During the royal visit, Ned's young son Bran accidentally witnesses Cersei and Jaime in an incestuous act. To keep their secret, Jaime pushes Bran from a window, causing him to fall into a coma and become paralyzed. Ned then travels south with Robert, leaving his eldest son, Robb, in Winterfell with Catelyn, the comatose Bran, and the youngest Stark, Rickon. Ned's daughters, the ladylike Sansa and the spirited Arya, accompany him to the capital, King's Landing. Jon joins the Night's Watch, seeking to prove his worth amid growing rumors of dangers beyond the wall. Across the sea in Pentos, Daenerys Targaryen, one of the last survivors of the dethroned royal family, is married off by her brother Viserys to Khal Drogo, a Dothraki horse lord. Viserys plans to use Drogo's army to reclaim the Seven Kingdoms. Daenerys receives 3 dragon eggs as a wedding gift and meets Ser Jorah Mormont, an exiled knight who pledges his loyalty to her. As Daenerys adapts to Dothraki life, Viserys grows increasingly frustrated and abusive, revealing his weakness. While traveling south, Ned's daughters face their own challenges. Sansa falls in love with Prince Joffrey, Robert's son and her betrothed, while Arya practices sword fighting with a local boy. When an argument between Arya and Joffrey leads to Arya's direwolf biting him, Cersei demands punishment, leading to further tensions and complications. Arya chases her direwolf away to save it, leading to the execution of Sansa's direwolf in its place. Meanwhile, in Winterfell, an assassin attempts to kill the comatose Bran, but is thwarted by Catelyn and Bran's direwolf. After receiving a letter from her sister Lysa, Jon Arryn's widow, Catelyn suspects the Lannisters are behind the attack on Bran and Jon Arryn's death. She travels south to warn Ned. At the Wall, Jon Snow discovers the Night's Watch is not as honorable as he believed. He must humble himself and assist his fellow recruits, including the bullied and disinherited Samwell Tarly. When Catelyn arrives in King's Landing ahead of Ned, she meets Littlefinger, the Master of Coin. He confirms her suspicions about the Lannisters. Ned promises to investigate, and Catelyn returns north. On her way, she encounters Tyrion Lannister and takes him prisoner, bringing him to her sister Lysa's mountaintop castle. Tyrion demands a trial by combat and survives with the help of a sellsword named Bronn. They are sent into the woods, where Tyrion strikes a deal with the violent clansmen instead of being killed by them. Ned investigates Jon Arryn's death and discovers that Cersei's children are actually fathered by her brother Jaime, not Robert. Struggling with the politics of King's Landing, Ned resigns his hand but is attacked by Jaime Lannister in retaliation for Tyrion's capture. With a broken leg, Ned is reinstated as Hand and sends men north to deal with Lannister men harassing the small folk. Meanwhile, Daenerys becomes pregnant with Khal Drogo's child. Frustrated by their lack of progress toward Westeros, Viserys insults Drogo and is killed by him. Drogo then vows to take back the Seven Kingdoms for Daenerys. Ned confronts Cersei about her incestuous relationship, but before he can inform Robert, the king is fatally wounded in a hunting accident under suspicious circumstances. Robert names Ned regent until Joffrey comes of age. However, Cersei disregards this, and Joffrey claims the throne, arresting Ned for treason. As the Lannisters assert control over King's Landing, Robert's brother Renly plans a rebellion, while Arya escapes and Sansa is held prisoner. In the north, Robb Stark rallies the Northern Lords and launches his own rebellion in response to Ned's arrest. After securing victories against Lannister forces and capturing Jaime, Robb is declared king in the north by his men. At the Wall, Jon is made steward to the Lord Commander and saves him from a reanimated corpse, similar to the Whites from the prologue. Despite initially offering mercy if Ned confesses to fabricated charges, Joffrey changes his mind and publicly executes Ned. Arya escapes King's Landing disguised as a boy, while Sansa remains a prisoner. Jon is tempted to leave the Night's Watch to avenge his father, but remains loyal to his oath. Drogo is mortally wounded in a raid, and despite Daenerys' attempts to heal him with magic, she is forced to euthanize him and gives birth to a stillborn, dragon-like creature. She burns Drogo's body and steps into the flames with her dragon eggs, emerging unscathed with 3 baby dragons. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.